Good morning, Tudor Liliana. I'm here ready for my session for today, waiting for my students as usual. 5 minutes. Thank you.
Morning. Hello, good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, girls. So I think it's time for us to be starting today's session.
Morning. How are you?
Good, Carol. How about
Hello,
you?
good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
I am sad, thanks.
Why?
Uh, we are mourning because our cat here died. He was run over by a car last Thursday.
Oh,
So that is a tragedy for the family, and we are sad for that reason. That's
Oh
why.
my, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
yeah,
I am so
very.
sorry too.
Yeah, those things are very difficult
Yeah, but
to cope with.
I used to call my grandson. He used to call me grandfather, but he's not with us anymore. So that's why we are sad. But these are the things that happen in life, and we can't have everything under control. But let's try to do the best of this encounter, so we can start and while the other people join us. Okay? How are you today, Patricia? Tell us.
Thank you. Well, I was feeling a little bit sick, but after hear your news, I think I am very okay. Running nose, you got that? You got the virus. You managed to get the virus
Through the
via
system?
online. But headache and those things. But I'm very happy, thankful, and I know what you are going through. I have the idea because we had four cats and we saw them one by one get hit by a car, and we had three dogs and it was the same situation, and it's very difficult, especially if you have small kids. But
Yeah. Well, they are
um,
not small. My son is 19 and he used to consider the cat as his younger brother. My
mm,
daughter too. So he was the beloved one in the house, so everybody had to be taking care of it, right? And he disappeared from one time to another, and we had no idea that he used to leave the apartment buildings when we live. It's there is an avenue in the front. Maybe he went out at night and he was run over by a taxi. Security cameras, and my wife discovered that he was bitten by a car, and well, he died here in the apartment buildings. And we buried the cat near here, like 5 minutes away by car. On Thursday night, everybody cried, and everybody's feeling the absence of Oreo. That's what we used to call him. All right, Carol, how are you? What's the good news for today?
I'm okay. I'm very good. I don't have new news for you. Just I feel very bad for you, and I don't know what I say because it's a difficult time for you. I'm so sorry that for me, my family is okay. For me, everything is okay. She is my daughter.
Yeah, we can see that from the distance.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no good news for us to share, so let's get started. And Patricia, can you please share the group about the last things we did on the previous session? Remember?
yes, we work with modal verbs, and modal verbs we told that there are many, but that we will work with a few to start, and those modal verbs will give us an opportunity to express advice. When someone was having a problem, we could give an advice with the use of those verbs. We did some exercises with building advice for different situations like a traveling or driving a car. And we also read a paragraph of a situation and we create an advice.
Some advice, remember. We have to say some advice.
Some advice, yes.
And
And
an
I was
advice is it's a
I
mistake
thought
to say
about
that way.
that, yes, because it's not count it's a non-uncountable noun. And you are absolutely right. Uh,
Okay, don't worry, don't worry. Okay, Carol, do you want to add more information about what Patricia just said?
No, just we discussed about modal verbs. The last class we discussed about should and shouldn't. Some advice and suggestions for the people in general people or somebody, and that's it. And I think today we discuss about continuous about modal verbs and maybe another auxiliary verb.
Okay, thank you. All right, to get this finished, remember that not only advice is for bad situations or difficult situations. In good times, we can also give some advice or make suggestions for people. Because at the beginning, I show you sad people or people having difficulties. So to propose, to be able to propose some advice or make a suggestion. But remember that in the next slides, I could show you a couple of slides showing you good suggestions or giving some good advice, right? So for today, Patricia, remember what we are doing today? What's the modal verb we are going to learn about?
I I am sure you told us you had a surprise for us today, that you will give us a surprise.
But I didn't say anything.
No.
No, no clues. Carol, are you sure?
You say the next class is surprise for you guys, but you don't about any the auxiliary verbs or but
No?
was very surprised for us with your news.
Okay, that's the key word, surprise, right? You are surprising me with these words this morning. Well, what do you think we're going to continue on with? What do you think? We have word can, can't, be able to, should, shouldn't. What do you think is coming up next for today with modal verbs?
Mm.
Maybe good,
Would,
or maybe made, or
maybe
the
may,
past, or the past
no,
of can, could,
no, could, no. Give
have,
me more.
have to.
Probably,
Okay, maybe shall,
shall, no,
might,
no. Patricia, place your bet. There is no sound, Patricia.
Sorry, I could not hear everything what she said because the sound was coming and going. But someone
Uh-huh.
is trying to come in the chat and also was typing to me. Lisette has some inconvenience, so I was a little bit distracted. Oh, apologize, Carol.
Lisette, let
So,
me check the
yeah,
messages here
yes,
for a moment.
yeah.
Just a moment. One question. You don't receive the link through your emails? Because some of you used to ask me for the link through Skype.
I always receive it by email and Skype, both,
Yeah,
both,
and
yes.
Skype and the email.
But if we don't, if I don't, for instance, sometimes I need to update my inbox because if I arrive and I open the computer, sometimes I don't get that information, so I need to. So perhaps
To
that is what is.
refresh.
Yes. No, also
Yeah.
update folder.
Okay, okay.
Perhaps
Let
that
me
is the
see.
situation.
Okay. But I don't see any messages here asking for help. Who was writing? Lisette?
She wrote it on the personal message.
No, I don't have here. But Lisette, the Rincon, the girl
Yeah,
who has been
Lisette.
absent from all these
Yeah.
sessions. No, I see nothing here on my screen.
No, but she contacted me. I just answered that we are waiting for her. She's
Uh,
typing.
well, but
Let me
not to
see.
me. And can you send her the link if she
I
can
will.
enter?
Yep,
Please,
she's trying to enter.
please try to help
I,
her because.
yes, I will.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because she only has been here for 3 times, and this is encounter number 14. It's strange. She hasn't been here for a long time. But okay, let's get started. Time is running. So, my girls, for today we are going to speak about something we don't like it much,
Mm.
and it refers to obligations. How to express obligations. As this is another modal verb, I told you in the first session that modal verbs can be taken as a general or individually, right? So this is not the exception. We will have the possibility to work general obligations for general people and individuals, right? So you will get a little bit more about me and about the obligations I have. I will get to know more about you, about your obligations, maybe at work or at home, whatever. So how can we express, Patricia, obligation in English?
Well, normally we use the word have, but I we also if I am speaking with someone like my kids, and then if I have to tell them something, I will say you should. If I have, although I speak Spanish with them, but I cannot think about other possibility that have or you should.
Okay, have to express
Yes,
obligation.
you have
Because
to do
have
so.
is tender, right? Carol, I transferred the same question to you. How can you express obligation in English?
Must you must to I don't know have to you must to do your homework. Tú debes
Okay,
hacer la tarea.
but
You
you're
use
saying
you
that,
use must for obligation and have to, but must is more I don't know how to express. It's más it's more obligation that have to have a little suggestion. I don't know how to explain, but I have the idea, but I don't know how to express.
okay, let me give you a hand. Let me help you. Okay, you're saying much. Much is not a modal verb. You have to say must, right? With T, not CH. Must. All right, must. And do not use preposition to before or after must. Must to go, no, must go, right? So that's right. So we are going to have a parallel between have to and must. That's what we are covering. And also to express obligation, there is the word had better. Had better, and the strongest obligation is ought to. But this is just to give you or tell you the information because we are not going to get deep into ought to and had better. I'll tell you or I'll give you some information about that, but basically we are going to concentrate on must and have to, okay? So don't you worry about that. As usual, I'm going to show you the slide. Let me find the file so I can share the application with you. Okay, there it is. Patricia, will you please read that information?
Modal verbs expressing obligation. Obligations in English are described based on how strong they are and the importance they carry on.
Thank you. Well, it's my turn. Expressing obligation. Obligations in English are described based on how strong they are and the importance they carry on. Well, Carol said something about making a comparison between have to and must. And she was right. I could understand what she was trying to say. Um, the word must is heavier, is stronger. It's a, it's a bigger obligation than have to, but they sometimes are useful at the same point whenever we want to express for me or for general obligations, okay? But usually most is stronger, is for stronger obligations. Well, the next one with modal verbs is the one we have here. You can see how tall the first option is, you can see how tall had better is, and the maximum obligation is ought to. We are going to work must and have to for today. Had better is a little bit greater than must and have to, but the maximum point it's ought to, okay? We can work must in affirmative, in negative, and question forms with have to. Had better is affirmative and negative. Had better is not used for questions. Ought to exists only for affirmative statements. It means that we cannot say ought to in negative form or in just no question forms, all right? So ought to is a part, better is a part, must and have to are a part, right? They are small groups of modal verbs to express obligation. I repeat, must and have to is affirmative, negative, and questions. Have better is affirmative and negative, and ought to is always affirmative. Well, now let's introduce the first examples using must in affirmative form in general cases. Please, Carol, read the examples you see on the screen.
Expressing obligation affirmative. Pedestrians, pedestrian, how do you say pedestrian?
Pedestrians.
Pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers must respect the traffic light. People
Okay.
in Colombia, people in Colombia must pay many taxes. Yes. Children must keep in silence in different places like church, clinics, and hospitals.
Please, Patricia, your turn.
Expressing obligation affirmative. Pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers must respect the traffic lights. People in Colombia must pay many taxes. Children must must keep in silent in different places like churches, clinics, and hospitals.
Okay, thank you. Well, what is your analysis in these three sentences? Patricia, what can you get or what can you analyze from these three examples?
After the modal verb, the verb is in infinitive.
Yeah, that is the nature or the use of modal verbs. What can we get? What can we infer from these examples?
That they are giving like a facts. It's not an opinion, but it's a fact.
It's a fact. These are rules, right?
Rules.
Obligations are directly connected with rules. It's what we have to do. It's my obligation to do so or to act so or whatever. Okay? So, what I want you to take a look at this is that these examples are for general, right? In general. Pedestrians, you understand the word pedestrians?
Yes,
What is that?
peatón.
That's right, peatones. Cyclists and drivers. You see plural forms, right? It's for a group of people. Pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers must respect the traffic lights. If we take a look in Colombia, this is hell. Traffic in Colombia is hell. Nobody respects the traffic signals, the traffic lights, and it's a chaos, right? That's why so many accidents. People who are driving, who are crossing the streets, they don't respect the rules and they have the bad consequences like accidents. And the next one, people in Colombia must pay many taxes. It's expressing that we have no more options, right? It's an obligation that we have to pay many taxes. We must pay many taxes. If we don't pay the taxes, Jesus Christ. So we can have a lot of problems, right? It's not a good idea to get behind paying the taxes. And it's also in general for people in Colombia. And finally, we have the children. Children also have obligations. Children must keep in silence in different places like churches, clinics, and hospitals. The general obligation for people at these places is to keep in silence, to speak in a low voice, right? But we can see children crying, children running, children screaming, even people ignore the general obligations, and that's the time when we make mistakes and we break the rules for not paying attention or considering the general rules. Okay, so that's what I wanted to see from these examples. Well, the next one, Carol, please read that information.
Okay, expressing obligation. All airplane passengers must bu-
Buckle.
buckle the seat belt during taxi takeoff and landing. Muslims must go to Mecca once a year and fast for some days. Drivers must slow down in school areas.
Thank you. Patricia, Lisette finally entered or is still in problems?
No, she enters, but somehow she cannot get contact with you, but she's there. I can see her. She's here with us.
Yeah, Lisette, are you there? Are you listening to us?
Good day, everyone.
Lisette? Is Lisette there?
You,
Let, let,
you can,
let me.
yes,
Oh,
you hear me?
Lisette. Yeah, Lisette. It's a miracle. What happened with you all these days? We are worried for you. What's going
I
on? It's
have
a
a
miracle. Huh?
I have a problem with the with connect with the access to internet.
With the access to the internet, Christ. You have been absent for so long time, so we thought you didn't like these encounters. I thought you were not happy with this possibility. So many options to think about. Okay, so welcome again, and I hope you don't get lost in the future sessions that we are about to finish.
Thank.
Okay, welcome again.
Okay. Yes. Gracias.
Okay,
Thank you.
but Patricia, please read the same examples.
Okay. All airplanes passengers must booklet the
Buckle.
seat. Oh, buckle the seat belt during taxi takeoff and landing. Muslims must go to Mecca once a year and fast for some days. Drivers must slow down in school areas.
Okay, it's my turn. Or all airplane passengers must buckle the seatbelt during taxi, takeoff, and landing. Muslims must go to Mecca once a year and fast for some days. Drivers must slow down in school areas. Carol, how do you understand the first example?
Honest is very difficult to understand, but I think belt es el cinturón de seguridad, but take
Uh-huh.
all. No, I don't know understand these sentences.
Okay, okay, no problem. Patricia, can you help her? Patricia? Patricia is not there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, till now, I can't hear you.
Oh, oh, but now yes.
Carol. Oh, Carol is asking for help. She
Yes,
doesn't understand first example.
I will explain. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, but I am going to try to translate it. Todos
Okay,
los
yeah.
pasajeros de un avión deben asegurar su cinturón de seguridad durante el tiempo de parqueo, despegue y aterrizaje.
That's right. That's it. Buckle. Buckle is the verb used to get secure the seat belts in
But
cars. Uh-huh.
what is the mean during taxi?
Okay. During
Parqueo.
taxi, that's right. Taxi is when the airplane is going to take off. Es como decir en español carreteo, carretear o sí, cuando el avión va a despegar y una vez ha aterrizado. Eso es taxi. Ahí no hace referencia al carrito amarillo.
Okay.
Okay, is that clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, Patricia said parqueo. That's right, okay. How do you understand number two, Patricia?
That las personas musulmanas deben ir a Meca una vez al año y ayunar por un par de días
That's right.
o algunos días.
Por algunos días, yeah. Lisette, how do you understand the final example?
En Spanish, los conductores deben disminuir la velocidad en las áreas del colegio.
Okay, that's right. And the general idea, Patricia, how can you get or what can you get from these three examples?
Those three examples are rules also, but you can break them.
For
You should.
example,
you shouldn't. The penalty to break them is not so hard, but the damage can be very serious.
That's right, serious. That's right. But you know, when you travel by plane, all the stewardesses keep an eye on you, and they make sure you buckle your seatbelt. And it's a general obligation. That's right. So sometimes I am repeating this information. Sometimes we don't like to follow instructions. We hate it when somebody is telling us what to do and what our obligation is. It's something sometimes we don't like. For example, in number two, Muslims is a religious group, right? And you can see those people following the rules exactly the way they are, right? People or the Muslims from all over the world, I have seen that they go to Mecca once a year. I think it's in October, I'm not sure, but there are millions coming from different parts of the world, and they go and they have their rituals, their rites, and their encounters, their meetings, because it's an obligation for them. And every day they pray, looking at La Mecca. And finally, drivers must slow down in school areas. I know in the United States this is a must. In Colombia, it's no problem if you keep going at 60 or 70 kilometers an
In
hour when
Curacao
you
too.
in Curacao is the same as in the States or as in Colombia?
Oh, sorry, as the same as in Colombia.
Oh yeah, they don't respect that rule?
Well, the situation is that Curacao is from and highly populated by Latinos. So
Ah.
yeah, there you speak a lot of Spanish, but there is also Latino behavior.
Yeah, that's right. And Latino men and Latino people or Latin people don't like to follow rules, as I was telling you, right? So we don't like to receive orders. We don't like anybody to tell us what to do or how to do it or something like that. It's a pity because obligations try to keep order in the things people do when they are in general. We are speaking about general obligations, okay? And now let's take a look at obligations, but in a different way. The following examples, you are going to discover what is the difference between the previous examples and the last ones, okay? Please read this information. Carol is not there. Lisette, will you
Ah,
please
sorry,
read these examples?
sorry. I don't listen good. Okay, read the all the examples.
You are sleeping.
So sorry. Basketball players must be tall enough to play professionally. Civil engineers must be good at mathematics and physics. Secretaries must be very agile and develop of their obligation.
Thank you. Lisette, can you please read the same examples?
The first basketball players must be tall enough to play professionally. Second, civil engineers must be good at mathematics and physics. Third, secretaries must be very agile in the development of their obligations.
Thank you, Patricia.
And civil engineers must be good at mathematics and physics. Secretaries must be very agile in the
Yes.
development of their obligations.
Okay, please. In 1 minute, compare the previous examples with these ones. Carol, what can you get from these examples
Uh,
and compare to the previous ones?
the auxiliary verb don't have in the this picture. We have must be, but
Uh-huh.
in the before example, just must and the verb must verb and the other
O-
verb. But here is must be. All the sentence has must be have must be.
Okay, that's what you get. Patricia, what could you get from this comparison between the previous slides and the one, and this one?
Well, it's very much what Carol just said, that with the the difference is that after the modal verb must, we are using the verb be as to complete the, the affirmative sentence.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay.
the meaning, I don't notice the difference.
All right. Don't
I
worry. Let's see if Lisette has the answer. Lisette, what could you get from the previous examples and these ones?
For me, all examples are similar because are affirmative, uh, and the auxiliary verb. Uh, in this case, must be because it's obligation, and the other verb in this case, according to the picture.
Okay,
Uh,
good. Good. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Well, this is what I want you to concentrate on. This time, the verb is must be, as Carol said and Patricia said too. But I want you to see that this kind of obligation does not depend on you. If you can see, we are taking a look at professions, right? In this case, is basketball players, civil engineers, secretaries must be. When they say must be, is a component. And you can see that next to must be, we find adjectives. So these adjectives must be a part of you. If you are an architect, something must be part of you. If you are a singer or an actor or whatever you are, there is something that must be attached to you, right? Is part of your skills. If you don't have these skills, you will be put out. You will not be considered or you will not be taken into account, right? So when we mix professions with the modal verb must be, remember adjectives. Adjectives to describe what is your obligation to have, but it doesn't depend on you, right? So basketball players must be tall enough to play professionally, right? If you are, for example, 1.75, You are not cut out to be a basketball player to play professionally, right? Nobody will concentrate on you to promote you to be a basketball player, okay? That's what it means. The second one, civil engineers must be good at mathematics and physics. Nobody can conceive that a civil engineer is not good at mathematics or physics. And finally, secretaries must be very agile in the development of their obligations. I consider that secretaries must be very smart, very agile. They have to keep moving. They can't stop. They don't have to think too much. They have to react, right? So the adjectives are tall, good, and very agile in the development of everybody's obligations if you are a civil engineer or a basketball player. Is that right, Patricia? What do you think about this information?
Yes, I understand what you say. Yes.
Yeah, it's all clear?
Yes, thank you.
And did you discover it previously?
Uh, the situation is that I didn't have the other slides, so I could not make the comparison. So my memory didn't could tell me the difference. But yes, when you mention and you make the explanation, then
Uh-huh.
I could recall and realize the point that you were looking for us to observe.
Okay, so the previous examples were must respect, must pay, must keep, must buckle, must
Okay,
go,
I'm
must
going to
slow
take a
down.
finish.
All right, good. Now let's take a look at the next slide. Please, Carol, read the examples.
Okay. Teacher must be patient and courageous to their students. Actors and artists must be very intelligent to administrate their money and fame. Mothers must be wise, loving, caring, dedicated, and much more.
Thank you. Lisette, please read that information.
Teachers must be patient and courageous to their students. Actors and artists must be very intelligent to administer their money and fame. Mothers must be wise, loving, caring, dedicated, delicate, and much more.
Okay, thank you. Patricia, what can you get from these examples?
Okay. Uh, we have the verb must be again, and there is also an adjective like the other ones, but that is no, it doesn't, the person really have to be like that because it's good, it's a benefit, but if it's not, it doesn't mean that cannot be a teacher or a mother. If a mother is not loving, still is a mother. And if an actor doesn't administrate his time or money, fame, sorry, it doesn't take out the fact that he can be an actor. Nevertheless, on the other examples, you show us that yes, if the person doesn't comply with the prerequisites of being tall enough, cannot be join the basketball team, and so on.
Okay, excellent observer, Patricia. That's right. So it doesn't mean that if they don't have this profile, it doesn't mean that they cannot be. The thing is that they won't be good at their roles, okay? For example, I know teachers who are not patient and courageous, but they are teachers anyway, but they will develop their activities not in the best way possible, right? That's right. Okay, good observer, Patricia. So, what is the component all teachers must have? Patience and Be courageous, right? We have to be courageous and patient. Sometimes the students drive us crazy, but we have to take a deep breath, relax, calm down, and continue, okay? Actors and artists must be very intelligent to administer their money and fame. My mother told me last week that Luis Miguel is in bancarrota. He is broke. That's what she told me. And he is so famous and he used to have a lot of money, but now he is broke. So he was not intelligent, and it doesn't mean that he is not an artist. Actors. I have seen so many actors broke. Ronaldinho, for example, is a soccer player. It's a very famous soccer player. He's broke. And many of those people who are famous, they they fall in disgrace, right? Because they are not intelligent to administer. That's why. And finally, mothers must be wise, loving, caring, dedicated, delicate, and much more. I know a lot of mothers who are not loving to their children. They are not dedicated. They leave their children alone and to the care of somebody else's hands. Some of them punish their children, even they kill their child and much more, right? So thank you, Patricia, because of your consideration. Okay, so don't forget we have general. In these cases are general pedestrians, people, children, uh, airplane passengers, Muslims, drivers, basketball players, civil engineers, secretaries, teachers, actors, mothers, etc., etc., etc. Now we are going to get into personal obligations. And now you're going to get to know me a little bit more about my obligations. Take a look at this one. Your teacher's obligation at home, individually, right? Now, not general, but individual. The first one, I must make the bed every day. This is true, okay? Every day I have to make the bed. I must make the bed every day. I must do the dishes, sorry. I must do the dishes Mondays and Wednesdays, and not only Mondays and Wednesday. Any day when something is dirty in the kitchen, I have to. I must do the dishes. I must pay the bill. I must pay the bills. Some of these obligations, this is a secret, make me sad. Okay? Remember the first, some of the first information I gave? Obligation is something sometimes we don't like. But we have to be responsible. Well, some more. I have to do the laundry on weekends. I have to wash some of my clothes Sundays and Mondays too, especially when they are a holiday. I have to provide everything for my family. I do it with all my love, but these are obligations anyway. And the last one, I have to advise my son on his decisions, right? Look at this. In the first ones, I said must. The second ones, I combine my obligations with have to, okay? Have to is also to express obligation, but grammatically, have to is not a modal verb. It is considered as a semi-modal verb because the negative and the question they use the auxiliary verb do and don't. Okay, so have to is a semi-modal used to express obligation. Well, let's take a look at the first one, the first slide using personally obligations. I keep saying the same. Look at the verb: make the bed, do the dishes, and pay the bills. I have no choice. It's my obligation and it's what I have to be responsible of in my house. And the same things here. I have to do the laundry. Look at the preposition to. to do, to provide, to advise. Okay? So, any question or something you don't understand so far?
Okay.
Carol? No?
Sorry, are you telling us that the must and the have are more or less the same? They carry the same meaning? I am
Yeah, that's
understanding
right.
right?
Yeah, at some point, when obligations are personal, I can combine must and have to at the same level. In general, it's more commonly used must because it's a general obligation. It is for everybody, no matter if you are a man, if you are a woman, if you are a child. It's in general, no considerations. Okay? But for personal obligations, we can combine must and have to. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Good. All right. Carol,
Yes, it's clear. For me, it's clear.
Lisette, how about you?
In this exercise, I must perform sentences with obligation according to the picture, or is other exercise.
So it's clear.
Yes, is
All right.
the example is irreal the sentences with obligation according to the picture. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Compare to must and have to. What is when you use must, when you use and when you use have to. But have to is semi-modal verb, and must is I don't have choice. It's an obligation. It's a rule. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's continue. Now, in negative, we have gone from affirmative to negative forms. So the negative form of must is mustn't, and the structure keeps going the same way. Mustn't take, mustn't wash, and mustn't clean. In negative form, I'm going to show you some of the things which are not my obligation at home. I mustn't take the dog out to the street or to a park near home. I mustn't wash the bathrooms of the apartment. I mustn't clean the kitchen or the backyard. Alright, so these are not my obligations at home, but if I made the decision to help, it's welcome, right? Though they are not my obligations at home. The first one, we don't have a dog, so it's not my obligation to take any dogs, to walk the dog out or to take the dog to a park near home. Uh, I mustn't wash the bathrooms of the apartment. I think this is a secret. I think the last time I washed the bathroom like 2 years ago. My wife usually cleans the bathrooms and she cleaned it yesterday. Alright, but it's kind of hard for me to get the idea to help doing so, but I did it like 2 years ago, okay? But shh, don't say anything. And I mustn't clean the kitchen or the backyard. Listen, when I make lunch Mondays and Wednesdays, the kitchen is completely a mess. But I usually clean it when I finish making lunch, all right? But the thing is that my wife doesn't like the way I clean it. Keep the secret, okay? Well, let's see what we have here. In negative form, but using have to. This is why have to is a semi-modal verb. Don't. Take a look. Don't. I don't have to pay my son's university expenses. I don't have to go to the supermarket to buy the food for the family. I don't have to run errands anymore. So as you can see, don't makes the obligation negative. So I don't have to pay my son's university expenses because my wife is responsible for that. I am responsible of some other things and she is responsible for something else, right? I don't have to go to the supermarket to buy the food for the family. Listen, I hate going to the supermarket. A lot of people doing the same thing at the same time and standing in long lines. It gets me crazy, desperate. So I give my wife the money, so she loves going to the supermarket, right? And finally, I don't have to run errands anymore. When I was a child, I used to run errands, but not anymore, right? Somebody does errands for me. No, I make errands. Well, sometimes, but very rarely for my mother or father. When they need me, I have to run errands for them. Okay? Well, these are some of my obligations on some of the things which are not my obligations at home. Okay? Now, please, it's time for paper, it's time for a pen, it's time for a pencil, and develop some examples. Let's take a look at the first exercise and take a look. We have four people here. We have a flight attendant, we have a postman, we have a doctor, and we have a receptionist. And the exercise reads, what are these people's obligations at work? Remember, we have obligations at work, at home, at different places where we go, etc. But this time is only obligations at work. So please, for exercise one, let's take 5 minutes, 5 minutes to assign obligations to these people. Be careful because some obligations can be for one or for the other. The thing you got to know is that everybody has to be assigned four obligations. Be careful there, okay? Please proceed. Oh, you have to write complete sentences. For example, flight attendants must wear da da da. Oh, flight attendants must work da da da. Okay, so short sentences but expressing obligations. Please proceed.
This exercise is one picture or all picture?
All the pictures.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody finished?
I can
Carol,
see.
you finished?
Almost getting there.
All right, 2 more minutes. Okay, Carol, you are going to be responsible for flight attendants. Patricia, you are responsible for postman. Lisette, you are responsible for doctors, and I will be responsible for receptionists. Okay, so let's compare everybody's answers. Carol, please tell us the obligations for flight attendants.
The flight attendant must wear a uniform. The flight attendant must travel a lot, must speak three languages, and must give instructions.
Give instructions. Okay, let's see. Thank you. Patricia, postman.
The postmen have to wear uniform, or a postman must deliver letters. A postman have to work outside, and a postman must be careful, very careful with dogs.
Okay, thank you. Lisette, doctors.
The doctor must be speak three language. Yes, or is the mistake?
You just read your selections and then we compare.
The the doctor have to have to be careful with us. Uh,
Use the word must. Listen, we are using the word must. Repeat that one. It's must.
okay. The doctor must be careful with us.
Must be careful with dogs. Continue.
The doctor must be served drinks. The doctor have to work outside.
And you don't have one more? Lisette, you have no more examples?
With other picture. Postman.
No, just doctors. You were assigned doctors.
No, in this moment.
Well, okay. I have so much differences with Lisette. Only one difference with Carol and one difference with Patricia. Now, my obligation is to consider receptionist. Okay, my options. Receptionist must work with computers. Receptionists must work in a hotel. Receptionists must give instructions. A receptionist must answer the phone. Well, I think Patricia, no, Carol said that flight attendants must give instructions, right? Okay, that is correct, but in this exercise, it's not correct. Under my perspective,
Why?
okay? That's why I'm telling you under my perspective. For flight attendants, for me, listen, for me, flight attendants must serve drinks, travel a lot, wear a uniform, and speak three languages. According to you, Carol,
Yes,
who
yes.
must who must serve drinks?
Okay.
Do you agree with me?
Yes, but the flight attendants giving instruction too.
Yeah, that's right. Remember that I clarified, be careful
Yeah,
because
yeah,
only four obligations for everyone.
yeah. Okay,
Okay?
okay.
Where did you or who did you assign in your exercise?
Sorry, repeat again.
Who did you assign serve drinks in your exercise?
You're right, but I think this.
No.
Drink,
Tell
yes,
me.
I understand. Yeah, I understand your answer. But I think the waiters is the people serve drinks.
Yeah,
Mm,
that's right. But not only them.
you're right. The
Not
playa
only them.
too.
Okay, good. Patricia, uh, I don't remember exactly, but you said, postmen must be careful with dogs. Postmen must work outside. Postmen must deliver letters. Remind me the fourth one, please.
I also say that he or she has to wear a uniform.
Ah,
Postmen
okay.
have to wear a uniform.
Postman. And who did you assign walk a lot?
Okay, I don't see walk a lot. Oh, walk a lot.
Walk. Who did
Walk
you assign? Yeah, who did you assign walk a lot?
actually to nobody. You are right. I give uniform to everyone. I put
Okay, okay,
everyone with
okay.
uniform. That is the mistake for the assignment. So I should have not repeat any
Repeat it. No,
activities.
no,
Okay,
no.
that was the mistake. I didn't consider that
All right.
to to do the assignment. So I
Yeah, yeah, that's
understand
right.
what you mean.
Okay, four obligations for every person. Okay. With Lisette, happened something curious. Lisette said something that were not according to those people. Lisette, for me, listen, for me,
I have
doctors,
I have
doctors must, excuse me?
I had mistakes with my sentence because
Yeah, that's right.
I don't understand this exercise. For example, doctor must be work in a hospital.
Must be no.
Uh,
Don't say must be. Must
two,
work.
two,
Must
m-
work.
must work. Okay, the doctor must work in a hospital.
Uh-huh. I
Um,
continue. The
the
doctors must
doctor
wear a
must
white
work
coat.
computers. The doctor uh, must
Doctors,
work with nurses.
okay, doctors must work with nurses. Doctors must help sick people. And doctors must wear a white coat. Okay, these are the options I have. Now, let's move on to exercise 2. Well, take a look at 2. Exercise 2. Now, what are your obligations at home and which ones are not your obligations? Say or try to say when or try to say why. There are 15 obligations there. Uh, for Patricia, column number 1. For Carol, column 2. And for Lisette, column 3. Okay? Please proceed. And you define which ones are affirmative and which ones are negative. Please proceed.
Nelson, I can't read the second one. Could you please help me?
What is the problem exactly? The second one?
I think
Take
they
the
call it short vision.
okay. Take the kids to school.
Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, no problem. Okay, Patricia, let us know about your options, please. Your obligations.
Okay, so for the first one, take the garbage out. I wrote, I mustn't take the garbage outside. My husband does it for us every night.
Wow.
The next one is take kids to school. I have to take the kids to school every day because I am the one that gets ready first in the morning.
Okay.
Um, I must make lunch and dinner every day because I don't like to eat at restaurants, or at least I don't like to pay the bills at restaurants. I don't have to get the kids dressed anymore since they are big enough already.
Okay.
I have to dispatch the kids every day at school and to their different hobbies.
Okay, good. Thank you. Excellent. Now, let's see. Carol, tell us about your obligations.
Okay, I mustn't water the plants because I don't have plants.
Okay, good.
I must, I must do the cleaning every day after my husband and Dora go out. Go to do my daughter go to the school. My husband go to the work.
Okay.
I must to sweep and mop once a week. I must I mustn't get uniform ready because my daughter is a teenager, so she growing up. No anymore. I don't have to get uniforms anymore. I
Okay.
must iron the clothes once a week.
Okay. In one sentence, you say must to. Must to sweep. Okay. So don't say must to. Must sweep. Okay. Good. All right. Thank you. Lisette, let us know about your obligations. Lisette.
Mm, I I don't I don't have paid the bills.
No, use mustn't. It's
Mustn't. Okay. I mustn't pay the bills because I don't have work in this moment.
okay.
Um, I must run errands.
Yes.
Uh, because I help my mother in this house in house.
Okay.
I mustn't pick up the kids because in my house mm, didn't have childrens.
You don't have children.
I don't have childrens.
Children,
Mm,
not children.
children.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I'm using attend to meetings um, because I don't like in this case exception this meeting.
Okay.
Uh, I'm using but the kids because I don't have children.
Okay, that's right. It's bathe. Bathe the kids.
Okay, the kids.
Bathe. Bathe the kids is like bañar a los niños. Okay, good. So these are some of your obligations and some of those who are not your obligations. That's right. Well, before we go, we have the exercise 3, and it reads, choose the correct option for someone who is going on vacation. Use must, have to, mustn't, don't have to. Alright, so you make the decisions according to these 5 sentences. Depends on you, depends on your point of view, okay? Please proceed and complete these sentences. This information was missing. The second one, take, the verb. Carol, let's go with your answers, please, of this exercise.
Okay, you must make hotel reservation in advance. In advance, you must have ID with you. It is allowed. You must buy. No, yes. No, you have to buy a round trip plane ticket. It is cheaper. You mustn't pack too many clothes. You won't have room to bring gift. You must change money before you go. You can do it when you arrive. You mustn't change money before you go. You can do it when you arrive.
Okay, thank you. Lisette, please read your exercise.
You must make hotel reservation in advance. You must take the ID with the laptop. You mustn't buy a round trip plane ticket. It is cheaper. Cheaper. You don't pack too many clothes. You won't have room to bring gifts. You must change money before you go. You can do it when you arrive.
Okay. Patricia, will you please read yours?
Yes, okay. For the first one, you have to make hotel reservations in advance. You must take your ID with you. It's the law. You must buy a round trip plane ticket. It's cheaper. You mustn't pack too many clothes. You won't have room to bring gifts. You mustn't change money before, or you don't have to change money before you go. You can do it when you arrive. Mustn't
Okay.
or have. I have the impression it doesn't matter. I am not sure if I'm right.
Okay, so my selections were you must make hotel reservations in advance. When I say you must make reservations, is because I give high importance, right? It's for me an obligation is of high importance, right? That's why I says you must make hotel reservations in advance. You must take the ID with you. It's the law. It's general obligation. The next one, you have to buy a round trip plane ticket. It's cheaper. It is okay if you get it, or it's okay if you don't. Anyway, the important thing here is to travel. Next, you don't have to pack too many clothes. You won't have room to bring gifts. Have room is like having a space to bring gifts. So I said you don't have to. And for the last one, you don't have to change money before you go. You can do it when you arrive. Okay, we have different perspectives. Lisette, you have to be careful with pronunciation, okay? Boost. You are telling us boost. It's must. And Carol, you keep saying bush. Be careful with bush or mash, okay? Because much it's an adverb of quantity, much. How much money? This time is must. Must for obligation, okay? And let's take a look at the final slide. It's the yes no question forms. Take a look at this. Listen up. Must is not commonly used for questions, for just no questions, okay? So I have seen in some books, in some materials, that whenever you have to ask somebody a question about an obligation, is more commonly used, do you have to? but I have seen in other materials that they use must. So there are sometimes things that we get crazy if this is correct or not. In a grammar book I have, uh, it advises people not to use must you or must she, but instead of saying or writing that, ask do you have to or does she have to? So that's why I'm showing you this information. Do you have to wear a uniform at work? Yes, I do. Affirmative answer. Do you have to make reports at work? Yes, I do. Do you have to make phone calls at work? Yes, I do. So, affirmative answers, short affirmative answers for obligation. Yes, I do. Now, the negative ones. Do you have to teach classes at work? No, I don't. Do you have to evaluate the students at work? No, I don't. Do you have to make coffee at work? No, I don't. Well, with this slide, we come to the end of this session. So I'm going to stop showing you the slide so you can see my ugly face again. I'm going back to you. Here I am. Okay, so my girls, it's time to say goodbye. Carol, it's your turn to say goodbye and how you felt today.
Okay. I feel very good that always I feel comfortable with your class. Thank you so much for everything. And again, so sorry for that happened your family. I
Thank
feel
you.
so bad for you. So sorry.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your words. Lisette, will you please say how you felt and say goodbye?
Uh, I I congratulate you and my partners because I don't have clear this topic, and your explanation is very important for my learning. Because I don't understand the modal verbs. Um, eh, in this moment, I have mistakes with the sentence, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry with you and my partners.
No, you don't have to feel sorry. The thing is that you have been affected for the absence of these encounters. This is a process, and in this unit, we are working on adverbs. So I think this is class number 3. We have been working with that. And don't feel sorry, right? So you can get much extra information on the internet, but the important thing here is that you get to know and get ahead with the information we are sharing here. Okay, Patricia, how you felt and say goodbye.
Okay, so it is always nice to share with the classmates or online classmates. I don't, it is very, very nice to hear their sentences, their the class you have prepared is very interested, very dynamic. I appreciate that a lot that you make us to speak and you ask us to write. That is very nice, very interesting. So thank you so much. Congratulations a lot for your efforts and the nice dynamics that you constantly prepare for us.
Okay, I do it with much love, especially for you, for my students too. Okay, everybody, so I hope to see you on Wednesday at the same time, same channel. Thank you and have a nice day. Thank you and goodbye, everyone.
You too. Bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.